just outside Rome on the Avian Way, as men and women cheered. And so when you read 2 Timothy, it's a very emotional letter. The first Timothy is very organized, deals with theological issues and teachings. But 2 Timothy is more of a personal letter. By the way, when you read it, there's no order. It's a very emotional letter. It keeps repeating things in chapter 1, it comes to chapter 3. As Paul is writing the second letter to Timothy, he knows he's going to die. But his problem is, what will happen to the gospel when I'm gone? He's with such a heavy heart, he writes to Timothy. The challenges that existed around that time was the challenge of Judaism, the Jewish religion. Remember that our entire Old Testament came from the Jewish people. It's mostly partly the God's word, and then there's a Jewish culture in it. And you find that in Galatians, after men came to Christ, the Jews thought that Gentiles should follow some Jewish customs and keep some Jewish laws. And throughout Paul's life, he fought that challenge. And he taught that Jesus is everything. And if you have Jesus, you can add nothing to it, you can take nothing to it. That Jesus is the fulfillment of the law, the fulfillment of every Jewish culture. What does the fulfillment mean? It means that if I owe you 100 shillings and you pay me, there's no debt. It's fulfilled. There was the challenge of philosophy and science. You find that in 1 and 2 Timothy says that in the last days the philosophers will come and men will turn towards science, so falsely called. But I am accepted only in the Lord Jesus Christ. Now, this is how it works. Paul says that one time, I told the story some years ago, for those of from once you're not there. But one time, it's a preacher story, where there's true or false, don't ask me. But one time I was going to State House. I wanted to go to State House, I'm a Kenyan. So I came to the gate and they said, who invited you? I said, I just want to walk in. I want just to walk into State House and see the president. And they looked at me and they said, are you normal? No, nobody just walks in like that. And so I was turned away, advised to go to Madare Hostel so that my head can be checked. So I went back to town. I called a young man who is one of the people who take care of our president. And I said, I want to see you. He said, where are you? I told him I'm in town. Then he said, wait for me at Intercontinental. I'm coming in 10 minutes. And he came to Intercontinental in official car of State House. And then I entered the car and we drove into State House. And as we were driving in, they were saluting us. So now, the reason I entered is I was with a young man who works at State House and in the car that belongs to State House. The first time I went with my ID, they refused to allow me. But you go with somebody, then you're accepted. So you cannot go to heaven by keeping some laws and doing some things. They'll turn you at the gate. But if you are in Christ Jesus, as Jesus enters heaven, you enter because you are inside him. And then we have other false doctrines that exist called ritualism. Ritualism are those who do certain things to religious things. There's a prayer cloth, there's a prayer candle, there is a prayer oil. There's a prayer everything, prayer salt and holy water and some unholy water. These were coming in the church. Then we also have the agnostics. Those who said, well, there is some deeper revelation. And so we have gone deep into the spiritual arena, and we have seen some wonderful things, dear brothers. You are not seriously born again. This thing is deep, my brother. We've gone deep. We've gone deep. I'm now going into what you call esoteric, mysterious revelations there. That was a problem. Then there is also the world of demons and angels. In Colossians, Paul talks about the worshipping of angels, getting over involved in the demonic world, demon chasers and demon hunters. Have you ever met brethren who enter into a meeting and they know the exact number of demons present? They know their names. They even know the number of angels that could be absent today. That problem was there. And then there are people who believed that if they don't take a shower and they don't eat and they don't drink, then they are more spiritual. So they lived in self-denial. They didn't marry, they didn't eat, they didn't drink, they starved themselves to achieve spirituality. That was a challenge in that time. Dear friends, there was a challenge of Nero persecuting the church. And several other things we won't go into because of time. Now, chapter 1, verse 1. Now, in those days when you're writing a letter, thank you. You began by introducing yourselves. Not nowadays you write your name at the end. Nowadays somebody writes your letter and you read it. It's only when you come to the end you find it was John, and you hate John so much, but you have read the whole letter. But in those days, you began by your name, so that if I didn't like you, then I didn't have to read the letter. And the first paragraph, was not just your name, but you said who you were. I said, I am Paul. I am an apostle of Jesus Christ. I didn't call myself, God called me. He says, I am Paul. And I wish some of you students, when you go in the break today, you might find out who you are by writing a letter, using one paragraph to describe yourself. You see, if you cannot do that, you don't even know yourself, and God have mercy on you. Because if you don't know yourself, then you know nothing. Jesus wanted to know himself. He told the disciples, who do people say I am? And God met a man called Jacob, and God told him, who are you? Look at your neighbor and ask them, by the way, who are you? Now Paul says, I am Paul. And then he says, I am an apostle. An apostle means, it's not a title. Being an apostle is not the guy who drives the big car and puts on a suit and takes lunch at the Hilton. An apostle simply means one who has been sent out. It's not a rank. It's a designation. It's a function. I am an apostle. Sent out by Jesus. I'm sent by Jesus. And when you are sent by Jesus, he will give you a message. I was somewhere and I met a young man. He said, oh, praise God, Pastor, I am an apostle. I said, oh, wonderful. You're an apostle? He said, yeah. Who made you an apostle? I asked him. He said, I went to a meeting in town and a man of God prophesied over me and anointed me with oil, and he made me an apostle. So you can be an apostle made by men. You can also just wake up one morning and just write, I'm now an apostle. You can also make yourself an apostle. Also, demons can promote you and make you an apostle through pride. So I was talking to this young man. He's not even married. You see, before you get married in the Bible, you cannot even be a church elder, leave alone being a pastor. And the guy is not yet married, he has jumped church elder, he's become a pastor. He's already an apostle without a wife. These things only happen in Kenya. He said, I'm an apostle by the will of God. I did not want to be an apostle. God wanted me to be an apostle. You see, this is not like what the motivational speakers tell us, that you can't be whatever you want to be. That's good out there. But in Christ, I cannot become whatever I want to be. For the clay or the pot does not tell the potter, make me like this. But the potter knows what he's making. He is the potter. I am the clay. And I do not know what he's trying to make me, except I know he is working on me. It says, according to the promise of life, which is in Christ. That's a powerful thing. He says, I'm an apostle according to the promise of life. Now, he's waiting to die and he's talking about life. He's just about to be beheaded. And he's not focused on death. He's focused on life. And that life, he says, is in Christ Jesus. Now, chapter 1, 7 times there's the reference of in Christ, by Christ. In chapter 1 only. In fact, chapter 1, the focus is Jesus. So there's life that is only found in Christ. Now, Jesus said that those who believe in me shall not die, and even if they die, they shall live. Now let me teach you some Christian grammar. Christians never die. Well, I thought someone is going to say amen, but you refused to say amen, so let me say amen. Amen. Now I say it again, Christians don't die. Amen. The Apostle Paul writes to the Thessalonians, he says, we shall not all sleep. So Christians only sleep. So next time you're telling me about a Christian, don't say, oh, he died. Just say, oh, our brother slept. Because when Jesus comes, they'll wake up. Amen. So we don't die, we only sleep. But you can also add another vocabulary. Paul says that when my time comes, I will abandon this tent and move on to my permanent tent, the new body that Jesus Christ will give me. So Christians don't die, they only move from one tent that is temporary and useless, and when that tent is old, you move to another tent that does not perish, it does not get old. So we only move, we don't die. Pure box Kissy, but when my time comes, it is pure box paradise. Amen. And Jesus told the thief that today, where will you be with me? In paradise. So Christians only change residence from earth to heaven. He says, I'm writing this letter to my son Timothy. He says, Timothy, oh, may grace be unto you. Because you are only a Christian by grace and grace alone. So he says, oh Timothy, may grace be unto you. Grace, mercy and peace. Grace. Grace is like God's unmerited favor. Grace is like, oh, God gave me what I never deserved. No, I should not be a Christian, but God made me a Christian. I should be dead. He took my death and he gave me his life. I did nothing about it. As Dr. John Stott says, that the only thing we bring to the cross of Jesus, our only contribution to our own salvation, are our sins. We bring our sins at the cross and we walk away with the righteousness that comes from the Lord Jesus Christ. He says, grace be to you. Grace also means divine enablement. Amen. God alone has enabled me to be saved. God alone has enabled me, together with my brother Sam, to be here 34 years after receiving Jesus, not because we have worked hard, but it has all been by the grace of God. I know brethren who worked harder than me to be saved, and they have all fallen by the wayside. The race is not for the strong, or rather the battle is not for the strong, and the race is not for the swift. It's all by the grace of the living God. I thank God, he says to Timothy, every time I remember you, I just thank God. I thank God for you, my son. Every time I'm praying for you, day and night. You see, Paul is one man I want to reflect on briefly. Paul was a guy in the hard-nosed, radical Jew. He gives a testimony in the Galatians. He says that, my brothers and sisters, if it is concerning the Jewish way of life, I was number one. And then he says, I'm a true Jew of the tribe of Benjamin, a Jew of Jews, thoroughbred. Secondly, he says, concerning keeping the law and the commandments, I was perfect. He says, I was so good in keeping the Jewish law that I was better than all my age mates. That was perfect. Paul was a believer. He had a Bible. And he kept every commandment and every religious law in Deuteronomy, Leviticus. Not only did he keep them, but he taught them. He said, I was a teacher. He said, I excelled in the Jewish religion, in my church. But he says, one day, I thought that the guys were not keeping the commandments, and I wanted to kill all of them. And I would take letters from the priests and the leaders to kill these people who claim they are born again, and they no longer keep the commandments. I wanted to destroy them. And I took them to prison, one by one. So I was on my way to go and destroy them. And on the way to Damascus, I met a man whom I had never met before. He told me that his name is Jesus, and he hit me with a lightning rod, and I fell to the ground, and my life was changed. I became a follower of the same man that I persecuted. And I abandoned the Jewish ways, and I got the new way. That God is now saving mankind by his grace through Jesus Christ only. Not through the church, not through any religion. So we are dealing with a law-keeper, a legalistic man who became a follower of Jesus and a teacher of the grace of God. We are talking about a murderer who met Jesus, was converted, and became an apostle. Beloved of God, we are dealing with a great intellectual who sat under Professor Gamaliel. So I want to encourage you, Christianity is not for the stupid and the dunderheads and the failures. Intellectual. He was a professor of theology. Sat under Gamaliel together with Brother Barnabas. They were in the same university together. Now I want to say something about that. If you ever want to serve God, let me share with you. The higher you go academically, the more effective you will be in the Christian ministry. Now, did you hear me? In case your neighbor is sleeping, then don't wake them up. Just to, the people who are running at night in the compound, we just know The night runners and the sorcerers if you are disturbed at night because some people who could not, they were walking around and shouting and you just know them. So if somebody is sleeping, don't wake them up, just know who they are. Brothers and sisters, if you are born again, I want you to know that Christianity is meant for intellectuals. Several years ago, we preached in a school, and we talked to those who are born again, and we told them that Daniel was a born again guy, and he was excellent academically. And we preached such a bad gospel in that school, and when we went a year later, the chairman of the CU told us, Pastor, Brother Elisha, we had a very good time last term in all the classes, Brother Elisha. We have made sure that number 1 to number 10 are all born again in our school. The CU has made a vow that in all the classes